when we go out in search of wild edibles, it's such second nature to look down at the ground, we often forget to look up. This time I'm glad we did because we found a wonderful surprise. Staghorn Sumac! Staghorn Sumac is a wonderful wild edible, native to the eastern part of North America, as well as the Middle East, and grown as an ornamental plant all over the world. Find them in acidic soil that has a lot of sun exposure. Straight away, it's important to note the distinction between Staghorn Sumac and Poison Sumac, its toxic cousin. Staghorn Sumac leaves are toothy and have faint red hairs on them. The berries grow in very tight clusters on upright standing cones. They're red and fuzzy, like a deer antler, and if you rub the berries with your fingers, they smell like lemon. Poison Sumac has grayish white, hairless berries, and smooth red and green colored leaves. Contact with the plant causes painful blisters and a rash that can last for 10 days. Again, Staghorn Sumac, red fuzzy berries. Poison Sumac, white berries. A good rule of thumb, don't eat white berries, even if you think they might not be poisonous. Now that we have that out of the way, here's another plant that could be confused for sumac. At least this one's not poisonous. It's called Hardhack or Spiraea. It has lovely fuzzy pink cone-shaped fruits that grow upright on very tall bushes. Spiraea is quite astringent and woody, and it hasn't been traditionally used for food, but it is valued in traditional medicine for its pain-relieving properties, and it's been consumed in tea for thousands of years. I dried some, and I'll occasionally drink a cup with a bit of lemon to relieve stomach upset, but exercise caution if you're pregnant or immunocompromised, please. Thank you. Anyway, back to the sumac. The only edible parts of the staghorn that I know of are the fruits. Natives dry the leaves, and they smoke them in a mixture with tobacco, but other than that, let's just stick to the fruits. The berries contain vitamin C and A, antioxidants, and folic acid, but otherwise they're quite innocuous. To harvest the sumac, you need a pair of scissors or gardening shears, as these cones do not easily come off the tree. Here's how I'm going to use it, after a good washing, of course. This is not an especially palatable plant, and I wouldn't recommend eating it raw. The fuzz has a weird mouthfeel, and the fruit is pretty seedy, but since the berries have a lemony taste, the first thing I'm going to make is Sumac-ade. Remove the berries from their green stem, discard that, and soak the fruit in hot, not boiling water for an hour or two. I did about 5 cones to 2 liters of water, but brew to your taste and availability. Strain it and drink it, or add sugar if you like. It's ridiculously simple, tart, and refreshing drink.
Refreshing.
Next, we're going to turn these weird fruity cones into sumac spice. Sumac is highly valued in the Middle East as a spice and is a key ingredient in za'atar. And to make it, all you have to do is remove the berries from the stem, dry them at your oven's lowest setting for about 3 hours, grind them up, and then voila, sumac spice. I used my food mill here, but a food processor will also work great, but you'd need to sift it afterwards to remove the solid bits. Sumac spice is tart and lemony and very clean tasting, and it'll keep for up to a year in an airtight container. Next up, I'm going to make za'atar, and to do that, all we need is equal parts of sumac, toasted sesame seeds, and thyme. Mix it together and that's all there is to it. The Lebanese put za'atar on everything from yogurt to hummus to chicken and salads, and I can understand why. It's fabulous on veggies before roasting, as well as squash, chicken thighs, whatever. It would be great in just about any marinade, and I plan to experiment with it pretty heavily during this summer's barbecues. I'd also love to hear from you as to how you use sumac and za'atar spices at home. Don't worry if you can't find it in the wild. You can find sumac for sale online at places like Penzeys Spices and of course za'atar at almost any grocery store. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode and I hope to see you next week for our next plant. In the meantime, happy foraging.